Hi, Mike Brantley, Auctioneer, here with you today discussing what causes bad behavior, what causes auctioneer bad behavior. And recently I can trace it, so I'm going to tell you about that today. Relatedly, I was talking to somebody at Proxy Bid the other day, and we had a bidder who bid on a lot of the items in our online auction, and then they're unreachable. I didn't understand. Finally, when we got a hold of him, well, can I pay in about a week? That's certainly not the terms. Well, I didn't really understand. And I think he did understand. So ProxyBidCon got a hold of me and said, anything you can tell us about this bidder who didn't perform? He bought quite a few items, or didn't buy quite a few items. Anything you can tell us about him? And I said, well, I don't know. Drug problem, mental illness, prankster, just somebody got nothing else to do. I'm going to get on the internet and register and bid on a bunch of stuff I don't intend to buy. Why is ProxyBid asking me what the cause of this behavior is? And I would say that in large part, the behavior is a result, any bad behavior is a result of lack of consequence. I can do it because no one's going to do anything about it. Or I'm, in some cases with auctioneers, I can do it because I've licensed myself, in effect, to be able to do it. Because I've told everybody I'm able to do this, I can do this. And the bidders and maybe the seller has signed something accordingly saying, yes, you can. Now, whether they read what they signed, I doubt it. Whether they understood what they signed, almost probably for sure they didn't understand it, but nonetheless, the auctioneer lays that terms and conditions in front of those bidders or posts that terms and conditions online and says, if you want to play, if you want to bid, you got to sign them. So, understandably, people don't read them. So what causes auctioneer bad behavior? I'd say in the last 5 years, here's what I've noticed. I've noticed that attorneys around the United States have, in some sense, given them license to misbehave. And how I characterize that is that the attorneys are guiding auctioneers, some attorneys are guiding auctioneers to put in the terms, put in their terms, things like, you can't be held to anything you say, that you can take bids on behalf of the seller and portray them as genuine bids, that you can reopen the bid at your discretion at any time, even after sold, a week after sold, a month after sold, you can reopen at your sole discretion, that you can misrepresent items, expressly misrepresent items, that you can sell as is and not offer any preview. Yep, you can do that. That's what these attorneys are telling these auctioneers. And I get it. When I was much younger and much more naive, if an attorney told me something, I thought, well, that's gold. An attorney would never mislead me or give me bad information or send me down the wrong path. They're an attorney. I mean, of course, they're on my team. They're on my side. There's no ulterior motive. Not that I'm suggesting there's any ulterior motive here, but, well, I quite frankly don't understand it completely. I'm not done researching. So, along with my analogy that ProxyBid wants to understand what makes or what creates or how can they identify a bidder that's not going to pay or not going to perform. Are there characteristics? Could I look at the over 30 cases in which I've been an expert witness, of which a minority involved going after an auctioneer? That's good news. But of those where they were going after an auctioneer or an auction company, can I trace any particular thing I see consistently in their terms, conditions, contracts, disclosures, and the like? And what I see is a bunch of I can do anything. It might take 3 or 4 or 6 or 35 pages, but if you'd have to sum up those terms and conditions, it says I can do anything. I can lie to you. I can misrepresent. I can retract your bid. I can do anything. I can do anything that I want to do. And it's not just that the auctioneer can do anything that auctioneer wants to do, but it's largely the bidder can't do anything about it. In other words, they're held harmless. They're not liable. They're waiving any responsibility. We've had other blogs and videos about those topics. So I think when you say to an auctioneer, if you're an attorney and you're telling auctioneers that they can have as-is transactions denying people the right to preview, if they're having auctions where they can reopen the bid after sold unilaterally and for any reason, and probably even capriciously or arbitrarily, that they can misrepresent property, or they can't, it's not always in that simple of language, that they can't be held liable for any express or implied warranties or guarantees or expressions. So what do those auctioneers do? Well, I can tell you what they do, because I'm the one sitting there looking at it, advising an attorney as to what we can do about such disclaimers, waivers, and assignments. They do what they can do. Here's a lesson if you're an auctioneer working with or listening to an attorney guide you into what's in your contract or what's in your terms. Here's the question you need to ask. What are the ramifications of that? What can happen if I do that? I understand that I can do it, but what are the ramifications? It was interesting. I saw an argument by an attorney who said, you can reopen the bid after sold. There have been these 1, 2, 3, 4 court cases around the United States where the court ruled that you can. And I said, can you say that again slower? A court said you can. So the auctioneer was in court. I said, in talking with this auctioneer, I said, are there any cases that you're aware of? There aren't any cases that I'm aware of. Are there any cases you're aware of where an auctioneer said sold and left it there, that they were pursued in court? He couldn't think of any. I haven't seen any either. So an attorney says, you can reopen the bid, you can misrepresent, you can not allow previews. If that's all you're hearing, so I got a 7-year-old granddaughter. She said, can I go ride my bike? I said, yeah, you can ride your bike. And she's out the door as I finish that sentence. But be careful and stay inside the gated area there. And third, watch both ways and bundle up and put your helmet on. I'm not sure she heard any of that. I think she understood that my "you can ride your bike" was coupled with what I always tell her. Be careful, stay in a certain area, wear your helmet, bundle up. I think auctioneers are largely just hearing the "I can ride my bike," and they're off riding their bike. And they don't hear any of the rest of it. Or worse yet, I suspect, none of the rest of it's being discussed. I saw an article where an attorney claimed you can sell as is without any previews. The law doesn't require a preview in an as is sale. Of course, I find another attorney who says, no, of course, you do need to provide a preview, opportunity to preview, to sell as is. And then what's the rest of that sentence? What did he have at the end of that sentence? Because see, you can do lots of things, but are they advisable? And at the end of that sentence, it said, because the bidder, who doesn't get an opportunity to preview, who buys, can sue for damages. So, we're always looking for the short answer. We're always looking for the quick out. Tell me what I can do. And there are attorneys that do nothing else but keep spewing, you can do this, you can do that, you can do that, coupled with, we'll put a disclaimer in your contract, we'll put a waiver in your contract, we'll put an assignment in your contract, we will assign that to somebody else. Without discussing at all the consequences, the possible consequences. And when auctioneers don't see consequences, for that matter, when anyone doesn't see consequences, what do they tend to do? Well, they tend to go ahead and do whatever they want to do, whatever they feel they can do, whatever they want to do, because there's no consequences. Waivers, disclaimers, assignments, I could stack them. I've reviewed contracts, terms, conditions all over the United States, dozens of auctioneers, and what was 35 years ago, one page is 35, 65, 122 pages of I can do anything I want. And when they can do anything they want, when they think they can do anything they want, what do? They do that. What's driving a bidder on proxy bid to not perform? I don't have that answer. I don't see a profile. I don't see a certain type of person necessarily. I see the behavior, but by the time I see the behavior, it's too late. So I can appreciate proxy bid trying to figure that out. But if somebody comes up to me and says, what's causing auctioneers to misbehave? It's because attorneys are giving them license to misbehave and not discussing with them the possible consequences of such misbehavior. Mike Brantley, Auctioneer. Pleasure to be with you today. Other videos on this same page, others forthcoming. Have a great day, and of course, stay safe.